Okay, let's do this lap time challenge. Select from garage. I don't have this car. Rent. I might as well buy this car if I'm gonna use it. Let me do orange. I mean yellow. Yellow, of course. Just do this real quick. Make sure I'm all for it. 13. Wow. Okay. Whoa. This car is quite quick. I see why people like Porsches when I started playing Gran Turismo 7. Although, and I don't think Gran Turismo 5 had Porsche as a select Porsche, as a Porsche. I think I'm right. The reason I'm repeating is Americans say Porsche, but it's Porsche. Um, you know what? It doesn't really matter, right? So let me just pause this. Have to my tea kettle. Okay, I'm back. Let's see what's going on here. I just turned off the tea kettle. Pour me some tea. I'm gonna let it cool off because I'm like scorching hot. But I gotta make sure that the tea is dark enough and takes the juice of the leaves. It's not like Lipton. It's real Russian leaves, real tea leaves. I believe it's Russian. I'm not sure if it is. I actually don't think we have Russian leaves left over from Moscow. Those were high quality um, tea leaves. Over here they have sawdust called Lipton tea, which is the scraps left at the end for the rich people that can afford and enjoy tea. And Lipton is the sawdust left over from the leaves. That's what it is. It's like IKEA. Back in the day when you buy furniture, you buy solid wood, right? Nowadays it's IKEA. IKEA is sawdust with plastic and supposedly supposed to be recycled, right? They preach recycle, they preach not wasting things, and they preach cost efficient, and they preach it's cheap, so you don't have to worry about leaving it at a, you know, at an old, that's the marketing, right? At the old place you're leaving, you just leave it because it's cheap enough to buy another one. Well, just like anything, when you monopolize um, a category, something subjective, it tends to be quite literally have its own market. You can dictate its value to a certain degree, right? Because the customer dictates its value too. But that's how it works. Just kind of like bummed out that society kind of takes certain. I understand it. Takes the easy route. I understand that. And life is tough and you know, it can be quite a thing to spend a lot of money on solid wood, have it scratch up and that feeling, but if you buy one quality bed, buy one quality furniture, if you buy anything that's not like technology based, if you buy something that's analog, that's manual, that doesn't take electronics, it will last you, right? It will last you a lifetime. And I'm not talking about like a computer, right? Like again, excuse me, that was not good. Computer won't last you, even if you buy a $10,000 computer, it won't last you quite as long as you think it will, because technology moves at a pace of innovation. So it could last you anywhere from a year to multiple years. So it's dictated by the technology. But you don't have that with furniture, with beds, with houses that are made out of bricks. Right? Most of the houses nowadays are made out of IKEA wood, right? Got like plaster for a house, right? Like the three little pigs. One builds his house out of hay. So today's houses are built out of hay. Other one builds it. I believe I'm not really 100% certain what's the second one. It was like wood or whatever with sticks, and he still blew it down. But the one that had bricks, he couldn't blow it down. That's the lesson is um, things are that are made to last will last, and those houses that were made out of plaster, drywall, um, IKEA type materials, thin plywood, and they don't last for a reason. And you saw, look at the records of the pricing of the materials. It actually went up, and you can throw that up to all kinds of economical factors. But there's two things. There's the historical reality of that product was and how people didn't buy it for a reason. How today people don't like being told that they are brainwashed, but brainwashing is a thing when they are marketed to, they are kind of put in a position where they're shown these as the only option when it's not necessarily the case. And we have a very different time because of it. Very different time. And IKEA's example, um, big supply chain stores, say like I would say that's just society, man. That's just the animal nature, the monkey business, the chimp in us to choose the path of the least resistance, to be taken advantage of, to take advantage of, to believe that we know it all, that we won't get tricked, but we do. when you think you're not is when you actually should be fearful that it's too late. And that's the kind of the gist, that what you don't know will kill you. What you don't know will surely kill you. In all ways, like societies hasn't changed. It's just it's better hiding its ways. Um, Politics is saving face. So politics is an example of what is kind of changing in culture. We see that in business. We see that in advertisements. We see that in the upbringings. Um, you can see that with the, the separation of parenting, parents separate from World War II, the end of from World War II, and then onwards. And you can see that with the corporations and business, big chain businesses and their marketing. Well, now separating the kids and marketing towards the kids, starting younger and younger. It's getting, values is no longer a commodity. No one, the values of the family is not looked at as important to the majority. Yet, the quote unquote leaders of our, politicians, the people with big titles and no faces and no names and no history, they live a totally different, reality. They still live by family values. They still live by the people. People think, old school, that they're the future. It's not the case. Old works for a reason. Old furniture, old school ways, they all work for a reason. They all work for a reason, and simply put, all these new things, it's just too many people. Simply put, way too many people. And it's population control, and that's how things are, man. That's how things will be. It's people say it's a dog eat dog world. It's not a dog eat dog world. Dogs are way too nice. It's a chimp. It's a chimp world. It's a chimpanzee world. It's ape. It's apes. You you'll find a lot of similarities with the apes and humans. You do a little research. We have the same exact amount of hairs on our body as them. We also wage wars the same as them. There's a lot of very similar motives. It's very, very uncanny. We will continue to deny and to preach superiority, but it's quite evident that we are, as humans, now we're no longer treated as cattle, but we are cattle. Right, as Kanye put it, new slaves. The song is "We Are the New Slaves." It's truth. There's a truth to it. Except we're on the slaughter. We're on the slaughter. Right? Iron Maiden has a song called "Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter." Right? It's very true. Right? There is a community that's separated. Right after black slaves were free, one gentleman wrote a how-to kind of book, and how to kind of keep people uh, slaves, even if they're free. How to keep the black people, and number one is to there was a pattern. It's not me saying it's more of what I've learned through listening to black men uh, during the pattern of beating the male figures. Mother would teach the kids not to retaliate, and then the trust of now that the male figure can't protect them, you know, visibly beating them fun. So, in the gist of it is, one, you separate the man from his duty, right? The trust, the fabric of manlyhood to the family. Then you separate the mother, make her independent of needing a man. And then the kid grows up without a father because the kid no longer has been taught by the mother. And don't talk back against authority, but don't take anything from it. Don't take BS from anyone. It's kind of like a dichotomy. Now the mother has to be the father and be tough also, but the father physically is there. And what's the degradation of family? You create now it doesn't matter what anymore. If you're black, if you're anyone from the world, it's just a difference between have and have-nots. And knowledge is power, and the problem is now people think all the knowledge is in your fingertips of your phone. It's not. Knowledge is not. No, distractions are on the fingertips. Knowledge is there, but knowledge is usually hidden behind paywalls, school paywalls, informational paywalls. Way too much information. Uh, there's a few ways to mentally combat informational overload, and one is to learn how to make a decision on your own. But hey, man, it's tough out here. It's really, really difficult. It's easy to throw those words out, but it can become quite difficult to, once you lose trust in the supposed leaders of your country, if you're too busy working, don't have time to look into these politics. They have more important things like paying bills, keeping yourself fed, keeping family fed and safe, and responsibilities, and you lose sight of what's going on in the background. It's understandable. It's always been like that. You just throw your trust to your community leaders and country leaders. Once you lose trust, it might be quite difficult, might reshape, kind of make you want to reshape how you make decisions. And it made me, so I start thinking, okay, well, they're corrupt and they went far. What if I take those same steps? And it's not necessarily the case. You do good, and good will come back to you one way or another. Stay vigilant. Be good. Be kind. Good to people. that deserve it. There is a line, there is boundaries, there is judgment we have to have on people before you know them. You need to be able to make judgments um, on people, just to be vigilant. Um, it's just the case. That's how it is. That's just the case. We don't really see people for more than just a few seconds, a few minutes. Too many people in this world. It depends on where you live. No one knows who, people change. People don't change also. So kind of look at all these changes in humanity, in in us humans, and how businesses are run, how we're able to trick ourselves and get tricked. The IKEA is the way, that cheaper products are the way, how we're able to be taken advantage of, how we're able to take advantage of, and admit to oneself that one that me personally, that I'm a failure, that I'm a loser, that I'm a bum, I I am nothing. Because it's different when someone tells you that versus you telling it yourself. It's huge. It's humbling when I hear it from myself. And when someone says it, it's not necessarily the same. Not only the reaction of self is not the same, but it's the actual effect it has. It's also the truth behind it, the reasoning behind it. It won't happen every time. It will happen maybe once. Um, take a hard look at what I can do to affect my own life, right? What can I actually control? What thoughts are bothering me? What trauma is hindering my effectiveness in the time I have? It's impeding on my effectiveness, my efficiency of managing my own time. It's a real thing. It's a real thing, and we gotta be careful as if we care. Um, this country's so divided because of its diversity. It's people say it's its biggest strength. It is also its biggest weakness. There is no one that stands up for each other almost, and there's no unity. There's no unity. It's a very dangerous world. It's a if you're a kid, if you're an adult, everything is painted over with hearts and kisses and smiles and rainbows and glitter, and you see that with the human themselves, and you see that with the streets. You see that with renovations, with projects. You see that if you go to a certain neighborhood and there's trash everywhere, and then you go to the next, across the street, or turn the corner, and the thing is spick and span, and it's shiny, and it's new, and it's paved, and it's not a garbage on the floor, and there's a dichotomy. So everything is painted to look so, to mask the real problem. It's very ape-like, very much ape-like behavior. nothing is dealt with. Everything is pushed back and pushed. It's going to be dealt with later and later and later and later and never. It's very, very, it's quite weird. Quite weird behavior. It's essentially a struggle for relevance, a struggle for importance of self-worth, a struggle for future, for past, for present. It's a struggle for procreation. It's extremely difficult. Um, my cousin put it the right way. Death. Two things in life used to be. He didn't say this. He said that. He said a different thing, but I'm gonna put this out here before I explain the other thing. Two things in life used to be free: taxes and death. Death is no longer free. Death may be free to you, maybe not even free to you. Maybe you still have. Death is no longer free. It costs a lot of money to die. It also costs a lot of money to be born. Born in debt, die in debt. I don't think anything's free. There's a literal human being. He tried to put a patent on oxygen, on air to breathe. When it went to court, they denied him, but there's a blasphemy that came out of it, and the blasphemy is that it went to court. That's the blasphemy. The blasphemy is that it went to court. It didn't have to pass. It's the fact that it's been acknowledged. The acknowledgement enough is enough for a change, a very undesired change. It's scary. I'm not joking. It's very, very scary. Give me a second. Let me see. Okay, very, very small change in terms of the personal records. Let me see. 4, 4, 8, 4, 9. Okay, that says 4, 1, 4, 2. 42, 42, 2, 42, 4. Okay, so that's 42, 5, 42, 1, 42, 2, 40, 42, 7, 40. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Oh, I made it. Barely, but I did. That's kind of my rant that I went on. But that's my point. Point is that be a good person. Guard your heart.